Planning Commission meeting. It is March 5th, 2025, and it is 6 p.m. The first order of business here is a roll call.
Mr. Dalpez?
Here.
Mr. Mahalson?
Here.
Mr. Sarah?
Present.
Mr. LePage?
Here.
Mr. Reed?
Here.
All right, next on the agenda is our minutes for consideration. This would be submitting the January 8th, 2025 meeting minutes for approval.
Make a motion to approve the minutes as noted.
Mr. Reed has the motion.
Second.
Mr. Sarah with the second. Roll call, please.
Mr. Reed?
Yes.
Mr. LePage?
Yes.
Mr. Sarah?
Yes.
Mr. Mahalson?
Yes.
Mr. Dalpez?
Yes. All right, next on the agenda is the public hearing portion of our meeting. And the first item, 4A, is Ordinance 13-2025, Street and Alley Committee. This is an ordinance authorizing the vacation of a portion of Park Avenue Northeast from the south right-of-way of Howard Street Northeast and an adjoining portion of Whitworth Street Northeast to the west right-of-way of Taft Avenue Northeast within the corporate limits of the city of North Canton. So I believe possibly Mr. Young you'll be, or I'm not sure who's presenting.
Yes.
So these are two streets on the back side of the Hoover complex. Whitworth, in particular, 2/3 of the existing Whitworth Street on the backside has already been vacated. This would be the last third and the only property owner on all sides of the street to be vacated is Maple Street Commerce.
Okay.
We did check with fire and public utilities. There is a loop in our water system under the road that does not currently have any laterals attached to it. There is a private sewer system that only serves the people who would take ownership of the property, and then there are some private fire hydrants.
Okay. Good to know. Okay. Questions, comments from commission members?
So all the lots that abut those two streets is owned by the same person,
Correct.
which is,
Maple Street, the developers of the
Okay.
street.
but the houses that abut Howard Street is still independent homeowners.
Correct.
And have they, if the road is vacated, have they said what they're gonna do?
To be quite frank, this is being vacated without a petition. From the city's perspective, given that it is functionally a private driveway at this point, it would be hard to justify ever spending public dollars to repave this road.
So that was my next question. So it gets vacated, they basically own it,
Correct.
and they're responsible for maintenance of it or removing it if that's what they choose to do.
Yep, correct.
Okay.
Any other questions from committee members? Okay, at this time, if there's anyone from the public, from the audience that would like to speak on this issue, we'd ask that you approach the podium and state your name and address, and you're free to ask any questions regarding this.
My name is Jim Tedrick. I live at 309 Rose Lane Street, Southwest, North Canton. Have a property on Taft. That's how I got notice of this procedure here. I have a couple of questions. The Whitworth Street, you say part of it is vacated. Is a part where there's a chain link fence, and is it vacated from Main Street up to that part, and then from Taft on on down to that, just want to get a clarification on that.
So presently, everything from Main Street to where the chain link fence ends on the east side is already been vacated by the city and is no longer city property.
Okay, all right. I mean, but the church and different people use it then from Main Street. I know they park there and that for church and so forth.
So for the city block closest to Main Street, the church currently owns the half that's closest to them on the south side, and then they still have access to a public street on Howard on their north side as well.
Okay, but Whitworth itself, from Main Street up to that chain linked area is whose?
For the first block, the north half is the churches and the south half is Maple Streets. For the second block, it's all Maple Streets, and then the third block is what we're discussing this evening.
Okay,
So that area, Jim, yeah, that's chained off, that's
Yeah.
Maple Street, that's what you're asking, I think, from.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's Maple Street,
okay.
yes, sir.
But the street literally from Main Street up to that part, if you split it down the middle, part of it is the church and part,
Yes,
okay.
It gets a little
The
confusing.
city maintains it now, or?
No,
we did not.
no.
Okay, all right. So,
And then you know from Taft, heading west, the homes there, you know, they took those down.
right.
The Maple Street owns all of that.
The rental properties.
Mhm.
So this vacating as part of Park Street, Whitworth would come down from Taft and just dead end there then?
Essentially, yeah.
Yeah, kind of as it does now.
No. Okay. Well, I guess my opinion is, you know, it is city property, has some value, I don't know what it is, but, you know, once you vacate it, you can't get it back. What are we getting for it? I mean, I know, you know, Maple Street Commerce, you know, would like to have it, but, I don't know whether that merits, you know, vacating and giving it to them. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else from the public would like to speak on this issue? No? Okay, if there's nobody else in the audience, additional questions from commission members? Okay, any more comments from the city's perspective?
Just that vacating that allows further development of the expansion for the Diebold Nixdorf, possibly looking into another 80 or 100 employees going into where the old Myers Power Control used to be. And this affords them for further expansion and advancement for their operations here as their world headquarters here in the USA.
Okay. All right, if there's no other questions or comments, I would entertain a motion on this issue.
I'll move to approve ordinance 13-205, the street and alley committee.
13-2025, just to clarify.
Okay, sorry.
Just wanna make sure. We have we have a motion from Mr. LePage.
I'll second.
We have a second from Mr. Reed. A roll call vote, please.
Mr. Mahelson?
Yes.
Mr. Sarah?
Yes.
Mr. Dalpez?
Yes.
Mr. LePage?
Yes.
Mr. Reed?
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Next on the agenda is ordinance 19-2025. This is the Community and Economic Development Committee. An ordinance amending the zoning map of the city of North Canton to reclassify one parcel in the city of North Canton in accordance with the amendment procedure set forth in chapter 1182 of the Planning and Zoning Code from its existing classification to park and institutional. Okay, at this point, if someone from the applicant would like to speak on this issue?
It's the school board.
It's cool.
Yeah. Todd, did you want to speak on this? So, you're aware that, we took ownership of this parcel from, the IRT folks. And, so obviously we're a school district and hands are a little bit tied owning something that's, zoned for industrial. So, our goal is to keep it generally green space and to put it to use for the students.
Okay. Martin, any thoughts from the city to piggyback off that, or?
Well, we were anticipating the transfer here with the agreement, and the Parks and Institution is consistent with our adjacent uses there for the school district, so staff's recommending an approval on that.
Okay. Commission members, any thoughts or questions on this issue?
Is it contaminated? Like some of the other soils around there?
We got some reports done. We didn't wanna take a gift and have it cost us money in the
Right.
long term, so we've done some phase 1 studies on that and come back good. Just as we did with where the softball field is now, 14 years ago. So, yeah, but we are comfortable with where we're at with that.
Any other questions from commission members? Okay, at this time, if there's anyone else from the public that would like to comment on this issue, this would be the time. Okay. If there's no other questions from commission members, I would entertain a motion on this item.
A motion to approve amendment of ordinance 19-1025 as submitted.
Okay, Mr. Mahausen has a motion. I'll move to second. Roll call vote, please.
Mr. Sarah?
Yes.
Mr. LePage?
Yes.
Mr. Reed?
Yes.
Mr. Mahausen?
Yes.
Mr. Dalpes?
Yes. All right, next on the agenda, this is an adjudication hearing for application CUSE-25-1, 525 7th Street Northeast, North Canton, Ohio, 44720. This is a request to bring this portion of the school district property in line with adjacent school parcels. So, 1 second. This is the same piece of property, and I don't know if we need any more explanation of the property. Martin, I think maybe we might just need an explanation of the conditional use portion of this hearing.
Yeah, was Greg coming back on?
You know what, I weren't aware there was 2 motions. 1 second, let me grab it.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
We did meet with the architect, Greg, and in the school, went over the project. We can talk about from the school district, or the development side of it anyhow. And there is an extension of the trail being proposed as part of this. This will also house their track part of the field where they will be practicing and conducting school meets on that. There is not any lighting proposed as part of the current development, which would have something that warranted further discussion, but given the lighting is not proposed, we're good there. There is no built-in sound amplification systems proposed as part of this as well. So really seeing it as a compatible use. And I'll turn it over to Greg to kind of give more detail on that if you wanted to add anything to it. I kind of did the 30,000-foot view on what we talked about during our meeting.
Yeah, first of all, I apologize for walking out. I thought it was just the one motion there.
No problem.
So, I don't know what all you said, but, we need to recreate the throws area for the school as the new middle school is gonna overtake where they use now. So the intent is on the south end of this parcel, to create a shot put and discus area. As you mentioned, no lighting, no amplification for sound. This is a pretty simple sports area, just grass field and a throwing area, maybe some seating into that hillside for spectators, parents and the like. Connecting the drive, if you mentioned the drive connector there, the roadway and the path that connects from north, or from the south up to the north where, the school intends to possibly develop in the future.
Chairman, if I may add a couple other points there, we did consult with other city departments who provided input. Everything was addressed as part of that. I would also like to add a little unique timing on this with the zoning map amendment that was considered just before this. Staff is recommending approval with requesting a condition that the conditional use permit is contingent on the zoning map amendment being approved through city council.
Okay.
If I can add, I appreciate the attention to expediency. The idea is to get this area developed and usable by spring 26, as construction will have to be done by then for the
Okay.
middle school.
Could you just state your name and address for the record, please, just so I have that?
Yeah, Greg Chaplin with Hassan Stubb Architects, 190 North Union Street, Akron, Ohio.
Great, thank you. To commission members, do you have any questions for the applicants?
Yeah, Greg, it says here proposed stormwater management area, but yet the drawings really aren't shown any contour changes in that area. What's the intent of that?
So we're kind of treading lightly on, we wanted to make sure that we passed the resolution this evening before we made it too far into the drawings. But the idea is that that area will become the stormwater detention for all of the area you see in white, as well as future pavement to the north all the way up to 7th Street. When that gets developed as a paved lot, this stormwater area will accommodate all of that development. So there will be, and then that size is more than adequate to accommodate the stormwater system that would be required for that.
So are you saying you're seeing a drive exiting out to the north then?
Into that parking lot right now, yeah.
Oh,
Just
into
kind of
the
empties
parking
lot, right.
Okay, all right. Again, earlier it was mentioned that environmental phase 1 was performed. Was there a phase 2 ever performed with soil borings?
No, to my knowledge, soil borings or phase 2 has not been completed yet. Now, soil borings, at least for the development that's intended now, probably would be required. There's no structures as part of this original development. It's all like slab on grade for the throwing area, slab for a light frame bleacher possibly, but no buildings.
No occupiable structures.
Correct.
I mean, obviously, the school district is aware that there was ponds that were environmentally removed when Diebold expanded. And that there was contaminated soils that abuts definitely next to your lot,
To the west, I believe, and south?
correct?
Yes.
So I guess why, I'm a little bit concerned that you're not doing the phase 2 study to confirm that there is nothing in that area to having kids playing around there.
Well, that's not intended to be a public area, first of all. I mean, the intention is to probably fence off that area. The path will skirt the edge of it, But the intention is not for that to be part of a publicly accessed area.
The area where the shot put is gonna be going,
Oh, no,
is
no, no.
that
I'm
checked?
sorry, I thought you were referring to where the detention pond was. planned.
Both, the whole parcel. I mean, was there any test done where the shot put is gonna
I'd
actually
have to
go?
review the report to see if they tested down in that area. I'm not aware of that being part of the original area of concern.
Because that's like a wooded area right now. Between that parking
It's
lot.
partially wooded,
Yeah.
where the shot put and the throws are, yeah, that's partially wooded, just up against the soccer field. It's kind of open field as you move a little further south.
I guess that's a big concern that I have.
Well, I could certainly have our engineer take a closer look at the phase one, see if it warrants.
Phase one's not gonna give you the information. I mean, phase two is what you're gonna have to perform to determine whether there's contamination or not.
Is that part of the, is that information provided? I have to see if that was provided as part of the transfer of that land.
Just from my understanding, what being proposed to be developed here would warrant a phase two at this point without building an occupiable structure. This is nothing more than a concrete slab. It's an outdoor area. I don't know if that would warrant a phase two study.
Well, I think what constitutes it, in my opinion, is the fact that we know that there was an EPA issue that took over a year for the landlord to remove before Diebel could build their addition. And this is very close to this property. So, and I also know for a fact that the contaminated soil was placed on that portion of that proposed stormwater basin. That was properly observed by EPA, and there was a barrier put down to contain that soil.
Underneath the new addition to the Diebel building.
No, where the soil, the contaminated soil was stockpiled.
Okay.
But to my knowledge, after that soil was removed, it was, I do not know if it was ever tested again. So that's my concern.
Was that stockpile in the area where we're planning the throws? As far as you know?
Not there, it'd be where your proposed stormwater basin area.
Okay.
So I just would caution the school that, you know, that we wanna look at a phase two study.
Is that gonna be a requirement as part of this approval? Or could it be, if it is, could it be contingent on, would our approval be contingent on completing and reporting that phase two?
Yes, and I will end up making that motion.
Well, what is on the agenda tonight is not the development plan, it is
Right.
merely the conditional use for that property. So.
If they stockpiled it there, shouldn't they have like some sort of monitoring wells there to check it?
To my knowledge, there was not.
I mean, I remember the pile there.
That's all I got.
Any other questions from committee members?
Will this come back for the next phase? Will this be coming back to us again, or is this the last time we see it?
If the scope remains the same, this would be the last time you see it.
Any other questions from committee members? Any other comments from public at this time, or presenter? Okay. If there's no other comments from commission members, would entertain a motion regarding this conditional use, application CUSC-25-1. And just a reminder that the city has recommended putting a condition on this for the conditional use permit is contingent upon the zoning map amendment approval through council. I would make a motion to approve application CUSC-25-1 with the condition of the zoning map amendment approval through council.
I'll second that.
We have a motion and a second. Roll call vote, please.
Mr. LePage?
Yes.
Mr. Reed?
Yes.
Mr. Sarah?
No.
Mr. Mahelson?
Yes.
Mr. Dalpays?
Yes. Okay. If there's no other business for tonight, I would entertain a motion to adjourn.
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
I have a motion, second.
Second that?
All in favor?
Aye.